Okay. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Frank Lopez Jr., U.S. Border Patriots. So I'm here with Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera. He's in the runoff, Congressional District 23.
Yes, sir.
So we've been having against the much-hated, despised Tony Gonzalez, our incumbent here in this district. As y'all know, you've been following me for a while. Been working against that guy ever since he showed up 2019 in the district. Was going to run in CD35. Left family, friends, neighbors behind, and came over to our district. He was brought in by the big money establishment, the warmongering establishment. And so I've had the pleasure, guys, the last few days of speaking with Brandon. Had some conversations, during the campaign. And then right immediately after, kind of dropped off the radar, but they're taking care of a lot of stuff. Like I said, retired in 2018 and immediately got into politics 2019. But part of the reason I got into it, and part of the reason, as I'm finding out, speaking with Brandon, spending some time, is because of our love for our country, a love for our freedom, and an understanding as well, guys. Look, on the campaign trail, I talked a lot about, not just, the superficial political stuff, but getting up to Washington, D.C. with an understanding of the way it works, the mechanics, the people, the processes, the dynamics at work. And I feel very confident here to be standing with Brandon this morning, checking boxes here and there, just getting to know the guy better. We actually had dinner together yesterday. Thanks.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Lovely fried chicken.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Thanks for making time, us getting to meet your family, but also you making time to meet with our family, bro. And I really appreciate that. That says a lot about who you are as a person.
I just appreciate you making the time while you're up here. It was a pleasure, genuinely.
Yeah, I'm in San Antonio. I'm at his shop here. It's been very informative, very interesting.
You probably should have explained the backdrop. They're probably wondering if this is a hostage video.
No, it's all good here. Thanks for bringing this around and making time for us to show us what's happening. So Brandon, as I was saying, off camera, brother, I feel a sense of obligation to my audience, to my fellow Texans, or fellow Americans. The political stuff is like, are you going to endorse and blah blah blah. For me, that process, also consisted of getting to know you. We had some very pleasant conversations on the campaign trail, but getting to know you as a person, finding out a little bit about your history, who you are, what you think. So what is the main reason, or one of the main reasons, Brandon, that you decided to get into this campaign, run for Congress, and maybe a couple of things that you hope to achieve when you were up there, bro?
So the number one thing that got me into this race is, because like you see just a little bit first, like you've seen what I do now. Yeah. You've seen the business that I run. You see all the stuff that I do on a day-to-day. I have no inclination to give that up.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty nice setup. We've built something really nice. I've continued to build more and more businesses here in Texas, and nice. I'm enjoying it. But the only thing that was willing to make me put that on pause was our congressman. Yeah. Was Tony Gonzalez. And just seeing all of his failures and all of the things that he was voting for and voting against, claiming to represent us. And for me, as a Republican here in the state of Texas, as a constituent of Tony's, I don't think he represents me at all. Yeah. And I think he claims to. He's real good in his mailers. He's real good on Fox News, pretending to be a Republican. But when the chips are down, and when everybody's got one of these in their pocket nowadays, you can look up his votes. He doesn't vote like a Republican.
And, the audacity of the guy, man, to run around and say he's a conservative. The guy is anything but. And
or just like Nikki Haley calls him, he's the border czar.
Yeah, the guy has aided and abetted this invasion, man. I mean, honestly, I showed you, I went to Vizavala Road. I showed you where his office used to be in an Endeavor's NGO facility across the street from corporate headquarters for Endeavor's. I just saw an article the other day, Brandon, a couple of days ago. Endeavor's Southwest Key Programs down in the Valley, another organization, maybe Catholic Charities, talking about the vast amounts of money that they're getting for this invasion. And the movement of people into this country. Look, we see it firsthand by now. That our government is working to bring people into the country.
There's an entire supply chain. There's an infrastructure that's been built to facilitate.
it is, uh, government sanctioned human trafficking, human smuggling. There's a veneer on the surface. Oh, we're helping kids. They're showing up, but they've been enticed. Biden started doing it as a candidate, but really it goes deeper than that. The deep state, the globalists have been working against us, and that's one of the things, Brandon, is from speaking with you, brother. Uh, and getting a sense. One of the things, guys, that I ran and I said was, "Hey, I'm going to go learn the processes, learn the systems, and we're best to throw a monkey wrench and how to get it to work for us and find workarounds." What are some things you want to accomplish when you get to DC?
For sure. Well, there's a lot of things that are, I think, specific to District 23. I mean, obviously, the free space and bingo is the border. That obviously needs to be the number one priority of anybody that's representing this district, and unfortunately, it hasn't been. But more so than that, I think there's a lot of issues that don't get talked about a lot. Okay. I think there's a lot of stuff that, when it comes to things that, nothing else will matter if we don't solve.
Okay.
Like, for example, just runaway, rampant government spending, and by proxy, inflation. I mean, people aren't talking about it, but it's one of the biggest unseen taxes on the American people right now, is when, it doesn't matter how much you're being taxed, when at the end of the year, 9 to 10% of the value of your dollar that you've been saving your whole life is taken from you. It's not fair.
It's a form of robbery, brother.
Yeah.
It's thievery, and
they're stealing the value of your money because, unfortunately, a long time ago, money stopped being money, and the government got control of being able to print it and having no negative consequences for spending more than we're taking in. I mean, if this were a business, they would have been fired as CEO a long time ago, and nobody would lend to us.
Yeah.
But they still do because there's no repercussions.
So with your background as a businessman, look, one of the things, folks, that I've, just the short opportunities, small opportunities I've had to speak with Brandon on the phone, in person, to get up there, you need a person that studies, a person that learns, that understands the way things are working. I just saw him, one of his guys here, working on the computer on the very intricate parts of a weapon that they're working on. And so just to get a glimpse of the way, Brandon's mind is at work, is how he's approaching it, knowing the way this little tiny itsy bitsy pieces of a machine work, that is the kind of, methodology, approaching problems. You learn them, you study them, you learn the parts, and then you learn best where to, work the problem, go against the established procedures in a sense of, hey, it's not working, it's turn our hands. Look, you've been speaking with Matt Gaetz. I personally think, some folks may not like him. It doesn't matter. The guy's a disruptor.
Yep.
And
I think even conservatives who don't like him can agree. He's one of the best votes we have.
Yeah. He's going to vote for conservative values, but also, brother, he understands the way that the machine works. I mean, Look, he was key with getting rid of Kevin McCarthy. One of the best things, we wound up with Mike Johnson. That hopefully will be resolved with a new Congress. He's been a disappointment to me. I was very optimistic, but hey, look. So you're already working, speaking with some of the folks up there, representatives. I know you can't divulge a lot of things, probably, but
I can say this much. I consider Matt a friend. He's been very helpful this entire time.
Yeah.
Guy wants Tony out just as much as we do, because again, he's had to be a coworker to the guy, so he's seen him firsthand and all the stuff that he's up to in DC, and he knows we need to get him out. But I've been talking with guys like Matt Gaetz, Eli Crane, Bob Good. I mean, the House Freedom Caucus. They've all endorsed. Andy Biggs, all of those guys are behind us 100%, which is really kind of wild because you don't usually have people endorsing against incumbents in Republican primaries like this. This is very rare, and that just goes to show all the good votes in Congress are all rallying behind getting this guy out. They all know the score.
And part of that score, folks, they know the score. It has to do, going back to what I've been warning you about. And I worked with other folks in the district to warn you specifically about what the deep state, the establishment was doing, the unit party, sold out Republicans and, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of dynamics at work here. But the score here, as Brandon was naming these people off, these are people, guys, that understand that this is more than just about, seasonal election, campaigns. It's more than just about, the business of governing in the sense of legislating. I really believe, Brandon, this is life and death for our country, brother. There are evil, America hating, freedom hating forces at work. And so the way I see that, and I said it, and in a sense, I think you would agree with this. They need reinforcements. That group of folks, like the cadre of people that you just named, they need reinforcements up in Washington, D.C. They need people like Brandon, folks, that understand the workings, having already thought out a methodology. What are you going to do? Who are you going to pair up with? Who are you going to connect with when you get up there to work for the good of the American people? We're talking about finances and businesses, and you mentioned something about your money in your bank is it's getting robbed. You want to kind of expand on that a little bit, bro?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean it's not just a business thing, but it's also for like the average American that wants to retire on a standard, like let's say median income salary for District 23. That's a pipe dream now. It's becoming that. Because if you do the thing you were supposed to do, tuck the money under the mattress, you save your whole life, you live within your means, you tuck a little bit away for savings, and then one day you'll be able to retire and watch your grandkids grow up and call it a life. And you can't do that anymore. The government has robbed that from you because they're continuing to spend money that we don't have on other countries before focusing on our problems first, or before balancing our budget, or before doing a whole other list of things that they have a responsibility to do, but they won't do. Because they're more interested in votes, they're more interested in virtue signaling, they're more interested in doing the current agenda thing than actually doing the job they were put there to do, to respect the Constitution, to balance our budget, to be good stewards of our tax money, to actually go in line with the things that most of their constituents would want them to do, but they haven't.
So see, folks, that's what I'm talking about. Look, I said it before, man. Tony Gonzalez is a simpleton. The guy is a parrot, man. I remember we spoke about a Doc Green interview where the guy was just spouting off, talking points, not saying things, not even understanding the gravity, the depth, the error of what he was saying in that Doc Green interview. It's up on our Facebook page somewhere or YouTube somewhere. You can go look it up. But anyways, we need folks that are capable of thinking, being critical analyzers. And so that's the one thing that I feel very confident of, guys, that a vote for Brandon is going to not just get rid of Tony Gonzalez, but a vote for Brandon also sends up to Washington, D.C., somebody that's going to go up there with outside experience, running a business, hiring, personnel management, budgeting, all that kind of stuff, entrepreneurship, similar to Trump, as an entrepreneur himself, etc. But sending up somebody that is also a patriotic American who understands the ramifications of the war on our Constitution, the war on our way of life, the way on what America is and stands for. More importantly, I think, a war on our children's future. So we need somebody like Brandon up in Washington, D.C., guys. I want to encourage you. Go vote now. Don't put it off. We're talking about this, right, Brandon?
That's why we lose. That's why we lose elections sometimes. It's because there's not there's a healthy skepticism, and of course, with all the election fraud that's been going on, it's understandable why people are skeptical. But you never know what happens on election day. The Democrats push early voting like crazy, and that's why we think we lose that. It's like, no, our guys just don't do it. That's one of the things Trump did the best in his campaign in 2016. Is they really pushed. I was part of it. I was a volunteer for his campaign back in 2016. We really pushed early voting, and the early voting crowd came out, and it worked. That's something we need to push a lot more for our side.
Folks need to be voting. It's going on right now, guys. Today is Wednesday. You got today, Thursday, Friday to go vote, and not just yourself. Look, talk to your family, talk to your friends, your neighbors. This is a very critically important election for CD23 for our entire country. The decisions that Brandon will be making up in Washington, D.C., his vote doesn't affect just the constituents of these 29 counties. It affects our entire country. So folks that are watching, maybe you can't vote in this district, but you have family members in Texas who do. You need to get the word out, and likewise across the country, the grassroots, conservative, patriotic, America First patriots out there. You need to be pushing those guys. And that's when you go vote, take person or two or three or a dozen, and get out and vote in this district for Brandon Herrera. Brandon, one thing I just want to really outline real quick for our folks out here.
Sure.
I don't understand how people can still continuously vote for Tony Gonzalez. I mean, they're not informed. They believe the lies and all that kind of stuff. Personally, having been at the receiving end of Tony Gonzalez's lies and attacks, I know he's doing the same for you, brother.
To the tune of about 10 million so far, I think.
Yeah, that's
it's a wild stat.
And how is he doing that? I mean, how is that attack against you amounting up to to $10 million? How do you figure that?
So the only thing Tony can do, because he can't attack me on policy, because like I said, we can talk policy here all day. The policy
that's why he won't debate you.
Exactly. It's why he never came to any of the debates. Yeah. That's why he refused to show up to the debate that we challenged him to personally. Yeah. Now that we're in a runoff, because he can't stand behind his voting record. Yeah. So what he'll do is, instead of attacking me on policy, because mine are more in line, my policy ideas are way more in line with the average conservative here in the district, and he knows that, is he'll attack me on out of context things. He'll like clip me up and make me sound like a terrible person. He'll make up sometimes just straight up lies, which is kind of incredible that it's legal to do that still, but welcome to politics. Yeah. But he gets his outside people, his outside middle of the road Republican groups, his left-leaning groups, his leftist media contacts at Daily Mail or Daily Beast and all these to run slander articles against me. And then he'll take those outsider money groups and use them to amplify that message. So outside of the millions and millions of dollars he's personally spending, he's also got soft money groups coming in from the outside that are dumping 500,000 here, 400,000 there, this pack, and it's it's kind of like we're being fought 10 to 1. Yeah. But you know what? The thing is, and this is why I think this election is so crucially important. It's becoming evident that their money doesn't spend like it used to. Okay. The voters of the district are waking up. We've got the grassroots support. The people who pay attention, we've got their support. And the people that are spending millions of dollars in this race aren't seeing the return on investment that they were hoping for. They spend $4 million and then it only moves the needle by 3 points. Yeah. That's not a good spend of money. And they're freaking out because now they're used to being able to buy elections. Frankly, that's what they're doing, that's what they're trying to do, and it's not working. Especially in an election like this, in a runoff election, it's going to come down to turnout. Yeah. Because on March 5th, there were a lot of people that wanted to show up to vote for Trump. Yeah. And they maybe didn't do their research on down ballot races. Yeah. So all of those advertisements probably work because it's name recognition. And so they voted for Tony, and that's why I think he over-indexed on March 5th. Even though 55% of the district voted against him, I think that was a little too good for him. Yeah. And so I think this runoff election, where sometimes in certain counties this is going to be one of the only election on the ballot, or one of two, or something like that. Yeah, it is NARS in Valverde County. Yeah, it's going to be all about who shows up and who did their research and who cares enough to get to the polls. Because like something Wes Friedel says all the time, I really love it. This country is run by the people who show up, and that's true. It's so true. Yeah, guys, and so with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up here. But I just want to encourage you, man. I want to say, Brandon, thank you, brother. And I'm telling my audience, I'm telling my family and friends, go out and vote for you, Brandon Herrera, against Tony Gonzalez. There you have it, folks. This is the man. We need to get not just you, but all your friends, your family. Share this video. Tell other people, to go vote for Brandon in this race, in this district. It's critically important. You need to get out there. And so to those that have been following me now for several years, look, I've always sought to create awareness, telling you the truth from what I see it from my world perspective, my experience, my passion for our freedom, our country, our future, with an unwavering belief in God. I want to ask you to please go vote for Brandon. Tell as many people as you can, and do it today if at all possible. Don't wait. We're not given another second or another minute, another day. If you have the time today, go vote. Tell others. And Brandon, tell us where can people find out information about you and about the information you compiled on Tony's voting record as well. How can people get a hold of you or Sure, absolutely. So there's TonyBetrayedUs.com is one of our go-tos. It just compiles a lot of the votes, a lot of the reasons that we really think that Tony is. That's why we call him Turncoat Tony. Like, he just needs to get ousted. As for my campaign, you can find me on BrandonHerreraForCongress.com. And as of May 28th, you can see us at the polls. If you don't go this week, which you absolutely should, like I said, early voting, crucially important. I would go if you can. If you can't, we'll see you on the 28th.
Yeah, Tuesday, May 28th. Folks, I want to thank you for being with us today. Like, share, follow, just get the word out. And let's, what I always used to say, that our campaign was the David against the Goliath.
Yes.
Well, the stones have been turned over. And so, Tony's got the deep state establishment. He's got the warmongering machine, the forces, honestly, that are arrayed against us are now against this man. So go vote for him, but also lift him up, lift up his interest in prayer, lift up his family in prayer. We spoke a little bit, Brandon, about the way this impacts you. The time, the effort, the money you invest in this. A lot of times we probably say, what the heck am I doing here? But we push past that because we love our country, love our freedom, and there comes a point where you just got to pick up, even if it's a rock. Now, here's more than rocks here, very impressive here, but I'm not, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, we fight against evil forces, against our enemies, and as Americans, we have that vote. We have that vote, so exercise it. That's your voice. And
we exercise that ballot box so we don't have to resort to the cartridge box, as the saying goes.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been saying, man, this election is going to be pivotal. I mean, radio shows and stuff I've been listening to, and they say that about all the elections, but as you look at what they're doing to Trump and what they're waiting to do to the rest of us, certainly you felt some of that heat already.
Oh, yeah.
Folks.
It's amazing what happens when the establishment turns all of its big guns straight to your head and pulls the trigger to the tune of 8 digits. It's wild. It's a wild experience. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah,
but
it's a cause for concern, folks. I mean, look, I've said it before, man. Our own government's trying to kill us, man, and with a lot of things that have been going on. But yeah, that's why I say and ask for you to please also lift up Brandon in prayer. Our families that are out here in the front lines that are creating awareness, our men and women in uniform as well, obviously, and of course, pray for these people that are in office right now. That some clarity, some reason, some light would shine into their hearts, their minds. But folks, I want to thank you for joining me, and so please, if you've had any ounce of trust in me, I'm telling you, go vote for Brandon. Thank you,
Frank. I appreciate it.
Hey, brother, God bless you, man.
Thanks so much.
All right, y'all. Thank you all.